have always been a huge supporter of the copywriting field. Copywriters have always been known as the heroes behind successful advertisements, but copywriting is not only about creating advertising and marketing materials. In a digital world, copywriters work to optimize digital content, do search engine optimization, provide product reviews, and are the original content creators. Copywriting is key for successful communication, and now you've got the opportunity to learn how to become one and learn more about it. Today, we are talking about copywriting with Ameer Alaa, who is the CEO and creative director of Four Corners Agency. Ameer, thank you so much for joining us today. Can you tell us about yourself and how you started your copywriting career?
Hello, Zahra. Actually, I'm happy to be here today and to talk specifically in this about this field. I'm Ameer Alaa, the CEO and founder of Four Corners Agency that started since 2016 in this field. I'm former copywriter for Zain Iraq for 2.5 years. I started an advertising field for more than 5 years ago, and now here we are to write 360 concepts for big campaigns in Iraq.
Amazing. And so, what was your first job? How did you get into copywriting in the first place?
Actually, I started for as a job as a social media specialist. Between before 2016 with different companies, and then I found myself here in a passion of this field actually.
Interesting. Well, we'll talk more about how social media plays a role in copywriting. How would you define copywriting exactly? What is copywriting?
Uh, Actually, I'm working in creative copywriting field because the copywriting field can be separated for different fields like press release, public relation, writing for movies, and etc. But the creative copywriting is a really unique field that we can people work on it because it is the milestone of each campaign, each commercial that we saw before. It is actually the beginning of launch of a big launch of the production of a team members that more than 100 people that are working on uh, our and people's idea. Okay, so it is. I can summarize it. It is the words that people can take an action after it.
Right. That's a nice summary. Words that encourage people to take action. And what skills would you say are needed to become a professional copywriter?
There is different points regarding this question. Before and during I start writing for advertising, especially. It takes knowledge and involvement for advertising world, and then the writer can take inspiration from the whole world, and big involvement for the country's culture that he working in, and a good knowledge for marketing tools that he can use it in the right way
Hmm.
with his copywriting. Okay, then it needs to learn all marketing tools because he will need it at all stages.
Very true. I think the point you said about knowing the culture, especially if the culture you're operating in is the target audience, that's hugely beneficial. What would you think? Do you think that having good writing skills is crucial to become a copywriter or a content writer? Is the writing skill itself really important?
Actually, here in this question, that the challenge, the biggest challenge for the copywriter is that if he working with different companies with different fields, so he need like to jump from one interest to another. So the copywriter should control himself to not like jump to an area that it's gonna a conflict of interest at this point. So he need to study his targeted audience specifically in each work in each job that he working on. On the same time, the copywriter should follow the reactions and should measure the impact of his product. Let's say if he's writing an ads or a caption, and two main points to be a good writers. Actually, the first one is to be a creative when people can have fun when they see your wars. If it is a headline for a post or it is a billboard, it's a long story of commercial, TVC, etc. And the second point is the marketing. The good advertising should make a positive impact for the community.
Mhm.
Yes.
Agreed. Um, Another thing that I'm quite anal about is spelling and grammar. How important are those two things when copywriting?
Okay, actually, for this question, it's too important to be ready for this for grammar and spelling, because if we take an example for advertising, the copywriter targeting different people, different interests in each ad. So he may target a high level of education in his advertising. So he need to be ready. He need to set his grammar and spelling before start in this field. Actually,
Yeah, or download Grammarly and just use that. That's
Make-
like everyone's tool now. Just because, it's very hard to edit your own work. So ideally, in a team, you'd have an editor to check the copywriter's work. But small teams sometimes don't have editors. And so the responsibility lies with the copywriter to make sure that the spelling and grammar is perfect. And even the most experienced writer can get it wrong and make mistakes and they can slip through. And there've been a lot of examples where like nationwide or international campaigns have gone out with a letter missing or a typo. So it's a very important thing just to make sure that all your content is professional and that you don't have any of those mistakes. But yeah, tools like Grammarly help with that.
I totally agree. Especially he responsible of spending a lot of budget.
Yeah.
Okay, in production in publishing the concept, then he should like double and triple check before he gonna present his idea.
Yeah. And I guess one tip I would say is check with a fresh eye the next day. Like obviously there are deadlines, but try and check, go out, leave the room, come back, go for a walk, come back after 30 minutes, then read and see if there's any mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. We call it like check it as an end user, not as a copywriter.
Yeah.
Then you will find the solution.
Yeah. Which is hard. It's very hard to criticize your own work and look at it like in that way.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So how do you think copywriting can open new doors for freelancers and digital nomads? What benefits can it give to people who want a flexible work environment?
Basically, a lot of doors can be opened for the copywriters, especially in Iraq. We can talk in this country because it's like a fresh area for advertising and marketing. and there is a big demand. The competition started recently about the content, not about the good design or a nice photograph. For now, the whole competition it's about the content. So the doors that can be opened for the copywriter is to apply for many jobs as an employee for the companies, uh, because the companies here start hiring professional copywriters. Okay, this is like as a job. As a freelance, he can work in to collaborate with the creative agencies that established in Iraq or anywhere actually, to create the content, to write the concepts and the campaigns, and he can work as a freelancer with the production houses also. Plus, the copywriter can work in a marketing field to create the content for the influencers and the TV show programs.
True.
So
Yeah,
there's a lot of opportunities for the copywriter. Yeah.
there really is. I mean, there is so much opportunity, and yet there aren't many copywriters in Iraq. Why do you think that is?
This is a good question actually, because we have, like, we can separate Iraq in different in two cultures, which is the north of Iraq and the rest. And this point, we have a different language.
Hmm.
So this is made a missing of the copywriters here in Iraq. So second point is an Iraqi knowledge of the companies and the private sector in this field, as I mentioned, started recently. So the request of a good copywriters also started recently, and now I can see it as opportunities for everyone who interested in this field.
Yeah, I think also a part of it goes down to how, when you think of a career, you're not looking at the creative industries that much as a career path. You're thinking, and you know, parents and families put a lot of pressure to say, become a muhandis or become a doctor. Why would you be a copywriter? What even is that? And that's another side of it. I think it's not a very well known job.
Yeah, it's not popular for now,
Yeah,
but like it's started. So it's good to start it now. It's a fresh area for this opportunity.
definitely. And I'd say as well, I mean, even for people who are just have been writing as a hobby, if you've just been writing in your diaries or you have a personal blog, I mean, you're the perfect person to start a career in this field.
Good.
So yeah, so when we think about marketing overall and how copywriting fits into that, I mean, you as a copywriter, you need to have certain skills and knowledge of the marketing field. Um, can you tell us why that is important? How are they connected? And you've already mentioned a little bit about this, but why is it important to have marketing knowledge in order to become an effective copywriter?
Yeah, actually, here we can mention many points and many important points that the copywriter is responsible about, like definitely a big budget that gonna spend on the concept that he writes. So he needs before start writing for let's say advertising, okay, a new concept, a new brand awareness campaign. He may need to make a surveys that related to the marketing research. Okay, he may need to see the social media and digital reports when like he can measure the last impact in these platforms that related to this company. And when he start writing for the concept, he should be careful that uh, he knows all the marketing tools that is gonna publish this concept. I can mention many different examples. In YouTube ads, we have like the non-skippable ads. It is not more than 5 or 6 seconds. When he write the concept and the script of the commercial, he need to consider this point. He need to consider that there is an outdoor screens that takes 10 seconds without any voice, only show. The billboards that can take 4 words maximum. Okay, and the social media tools also, and digital tools. Social media tools, let's say if we have an ad for 1 minute, and he need to publish it on reels and stories, he need to take and consider the 15 second and 30 second of the ads. So he need to be involved in all the marketing tools before start writing the concept. Then he can measure his impact in advertising.
Yeah, very good points. And then on the other side of it, how beneficial is copywriting if you were, working in social media management or any sort of social media related role?
Actually, it's doable. While he need to learn these skills and he to be involved on these skills. Actually, it's really beneficial. While he can create the content, and he can measure it in each artwork, in each content that is gonna be published. uh, the engagement is really related for the concept and the tagline that the copywriter gonna write.
Definitely, yeah. I think it helps you with A/B testing as well, like to test how some call to actions might work when you write it this way versus writing it that way.
Yes, we did it. We did it a lot. That we need to in each deal that we have a new client in a new field. We need to study about it before. Then we need to do an A/B test.
Right.
Then we can start the guide of the content. On the other hand, the tonality of the copywriter is too important for
Mm.
each company, and this is related for the social media management. Then he can know what's the right tone of voice for this community. Is it creative or corporate or formal, let's say, and he need to be stable by using it also.
So I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit for viewers who might not, who are still learning about this field. And you've mentioned tone of voice. That could be, that's quite a new terminology for someone who's still learning about copywriting. Maybe you can give an example of, I don't know, like an ad that you had to write, and what would the corporate voice sound like? What would the fun, creative voice sound like? And then a third option, just to kind of give an idea of what the difference would be in the script. So it can be like one sentence, nothing complicated.
Okay. Actually, there is like 3 keys to write a good concept. This is firstly, okay. It should be unique, that it's not copied from anywhere. It should be relevant for the company or the brand that the copywriter working to, and it should be we mentioned unique, relevant, and simple. That we can call it memorable also.
Hmm.
So while we are working in each content that we create, and these points, it's not gonna be changed for a brand that we work with for a while. We should be careful by using the tone of voice with companies, because any change, like an example, you can't see Coca-Cola in different color, okay, other than red.
Mm,
Writing is also like this. We can't see Coca-Cola ads in a formal tone of voice, that talking without mentioning youth and happiness. So this is the tonality of Coca-Cola, that they're using happiness in each advert, in each ads that they created. So I think this is a real example for us.
that is, thank you. For those watching, if you do have any questions, please send them over and I'll ask them at the end of the session. All right, so we've talked about some of the benefits of being a copywriter and especially how flexible it is, and that it is the future and a lot of people are starting to get more interested in it. What would you say are your top two reasons as to why people should look into a career as a copywriter? So your top two reasons.
Actually, To is a little small to mention,
Okay,
because
three. Let's make it three.
actually, okay, let's take it as two. Firstly, there is a big opportunity in this field to create a self brand for people, to get a good paid salaries, because there is not more than let's say 20 copywriters now that working professionally, and there is really we can measure it, there is a demand in this field. So I'm encouraging everyone who attends this life to start this career. And secondly, and emotionally, actually, in this point, there is really life happiness that related in this field, when the copywriter can see his idea on ground, on his city's billboards and screens,
Yeah.
when opening the TV and seeing his concept that published. So he can feel proud about what he did.
Yeah, it's a very rewarding job when you see your work displayed all over the world or all over the country or the city that you're in. Um, what's your favorite ad, from an Iraqi copywriter for an Iraqi company? What's your favorite thing that you've seen?
Um, uh, Actually, there is a lot. I'm seeing I used to see more than 25 ads per day, so I can be involved worldwide for the advertising field. But if we can talk about Iraq, there is like um, big challenge here. I used to the telecommunication ads in general, even though Zain, Assel, and Quora companies, because they have different segments. They have to be B2B service that targeting or that established from a formal tonality, targeting different people. They
Mm,
have for youth a different segment, and kind of crazy tone of voice. uh, so I used to follow the telecommunication. Adding to this, they have a good budget that it's gonna be spent for marketing. Then he can create a lot continuity
yeah,
of.
very true.
Yeah,
Yeah, they do have very interesting ads and they're quite funny. Like they play on words and they play on the culture. I think Kareem have been doing a good job of that as well.
exactly. But I can mention one important point in business. We said we can't measure it, we can't manage it. So a lot of companies here seeing the marketing like something that it's not measurable. And this is the copywriter responsibility to make an impact in brand awareness, in sales, in the company tone of voice.
Right.
So make it measurable, then he can like did a great job.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Um, okay, so final question. What advice would you give to someone who is looking to break into the creative industry, start a career as a copywriter? Actually, you know what? I have two questions, so this isn't your last question. What,
Okay.
so what advice would you give to someone who's trying to break into the sector? From where do they start in terms of trying to learn about it, and where can they find their first job?
Uh, Actually, as mentioned before, this job is a really big responsibility for as a copywriter. So, if anyone enters in this field and encouraged to start as a copywriter, uh, I advise him to start from marketing
Mm,
because firstly he gonna be the winner of knowledge in different marketing fields, and secondly to make a good milestone for his copywriting. So let him start, especially in the social media marketing, because it's the popular tool here in Iraq. Uh,
mm-hmm.
and then he will be ready. He need to be involved in the culture that he live with, and to create an original concept that it can be like touch the people feelings and make them take an action. Even though make them smile or laugh, it's an action actually.
Yeah, yeah, very true. I mean, copywriting as well, even if you were to learn more about that skill, it's not that you would only have job prospects in as a copywriter or a content writer. There are also so many other jobs that you can do related to this. You could be a content manager, an editor, a strategist, even go into journalism. There's so many roles that you can take where copywriting is just the base of that role. Um, do you have any sort of advice on how people can, um, where can they look to find more information about all these other roles within this industry?
And copywriting role and in other roles,
In
actually,
other roles as well, yeah, like how do they learn about all these other roles? I mean, there's so much there, but you just don't realize that they're all linked to copywriting in some way.
yeah, it started actually in Iraq to provide like a good courses for these. We have two parts actually. The management part, like the strategic or social media management. This is like easier to handle and to learn because there is many references, especially online. Uh, Also in like universities, you can learn about this field, but in creative field, it's like more than about the experience. The people that working in this field need to learn the milestones of it, and then jump to the creative by themselves. Actually, to trial and fail till to create the good like strategy, the good content, etc.
Amazing. And just gonna put in a cheeky note here. So Iraqi Innovators is also, we're launching our digital copywriting program for the second time next month. So if you are interested in applying, I will put the link into the chat. Please do apply, because we've had so, since we launched it last year, we've had so many messages about when are you doing it again, when will it happen, because there aren't that many trainings or resources out there that are specific as well to the Iraqi context. So our whole training is in Arabic. Everything you learn is about how to develop this skill with Iraqi companies who you would eventually work for. And we also try and help you get your first job or internship as a copywriter. And yeah, maybe one of the companies that will hire you will be Amir's.
Yeah. Adding to this, we also have always a free seats for the copywriters. So
Amazing.
let them apply at the link below, then we can find them.
Thank you. All right. So, any questions from the audience, please post them now. We'll wait a couple minutes. Otherwise, we will close the stream. But if you do have any specific questions for Amir, yeah, post them up so that he can answer them. Otherwise, he's very difficult to get a hold of.
No worries.
Amir, you're based in Baghdad, right?
Yes, yes, in Baghdad.
Yeah. And do you think that there's a lot more, most of the copywriters tend to be based in Baghdad, I feel. I don't know, I might be wrong.
Actually, yeah, but the request for this field is more than the people that working on,
Yeah,
because copywriters created this need. So, most of the companies here feels like they need a copywriter now.
yeah.
Okay, yeah,
And I think it's become, yeah, it's definitely become more popular, and people are understanding that they need someone specialized for the writing part. It can't be that the same person does all the jobs, because the writing part is so important, especially for startups. I mean, if they're trying to sell products and they have a website, every product on that website needs someone to write the product description and creating what's the tone of the website, who's the audience and how are you writing the descriptions? Are they funny? Are they serious? Very professional? It's so much fun just trying to figure that out. And then,
yeah.
right, creating the
For
copy.
startups, apologize to interrupt.
You go for it.
For startups, in the marketing tools that we have, someone you may hear about it, which is the guerrilla marketing, uh,
Yeah.
which is totally depend on the copywriting. It may be a small idea, a small budget of an idea with a viral distribution at the end. So, copywriting helps startups to get viral, to get trend with like a low budget. No need to spend a heavy budget on the marketing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we don't seem to be getting any questions, so I'm assuming that we've just answered everyone's questions throughout the session. But obviously, if any questions come up later, do comment. We're going to be posting the live on social media, so you can put your questions in the comments, and either Iraqi Innovators team or Amir and his team can respond to you in the comments. Otherwise, Amir, it's been so wonderful to speak to you about this. Thank you for sharing all your insight and giving us more information about this area. And hopefully we'll have you as a guest speaker as well during the copywriting program.
Thank you, Zara. Wish you all the best in the next steps with the copywriting courses. Actually, it's gonna really be useful for the marketing field in Iraq.
Yes, we hope so. Thank you so much. Yeah, ma salama. Speak to you soon.
Till the next time. Ma salama.
Inshallah. Bye bye.